According to the CDC, long COVID has affected 7% of US adults. Chances are that is a bit of an underestimation, and it's more than likely a much higher percentage than that. But people are still asking, is it real? Well, personal experience and research say that it is real. I want to talk a little bit more about that today. Chronic pain, brain fog, chest pain, debilitating fatigue, and shortness of breath are all debilitating symptoms of long COVID. And the organic processes happening in your body are more likely also damaging your organs, but you cannot probably feel that. If that's true, why do so many people struggle to acknowledge the reality of this very serious illness? If you're watching this video and you think that you might have long COVID, I'm here to tell you that you more than probably do. If you're going through something rough enough that you have been compelled to research and find these videos, there isn't really anything else medically that you could be diagnosed with that isn't long COVID. If you are resonating with the symptoms that I describe, the variedness, the confusion, and also if you've experienced gaslighting from the medical community who have told you there's either nothing wrong with you, good news, your tests are all normal, and you still feel like crap, yeah, you almost definitely have long COVID. This is definitely a very real and legitimate illness. Unfortunately, the context within which it happened, after or during the multiple and in some countries quite extreme lockdowns, the world has been so desperate to believe that COVID is actually not the bad thing we were told it was at the beginning, that those of us who represent the reality of that are being denied and ignored. That is frustrating for those of us who read the science, know the science, understand the science, and live with the illness, to be faced with people telling us that, oh, it's just a mild cold. But it makes sense within that context, the protective denial that is happening. I don't excuse it, but it makes sense. This is definitely not laziness or depression or anxiety. This is a legitimate illness that does a huge amount of damage in the body, and it has a huge impact on our lives. The majority of people dealing with long COVID have had to quit their jobs, leave their careers, struggling financially, and living with quite considerable disability, which was hugely unexpected and enormously overwhelming. Give yourself grace, and if there are people around you telling you that this isn't real, just gently step away from them and remind yourself that it definitely is. Anybody who has the audacity to tell you that long COVID is not a legitimate illness is not reading the science. There are numerous research papers now documenting what long COVID is. 4 years in, sadly, we don't have a treatment, but we certainly have a great deal of evidence about what is happening internally in our bodies. We see significant changes in immune function. We see significant changes in mitochondrial function and potentially damage to the mitochondria. We see drastic changes in the way our bodies are able to utilize oxygen and re-emit it back into our bodies. We have countless slides from fluorescent microscopy showing the presence of microclots in our blood and the pervasive damage that is therefore being done all over the body because the blood cannot circulate in the way that it should be. We are now beginning to get some research looking at viral reservoirs. These are harder to investigate, but there is a likelihood that there are bits of the active virus hanging out in our bodies, and we just have the beginnings of the research that are figuring out where those might be, for example, the gut or the lungs or somewhere else. And we also know that that spike protein does reactivate other latent viruses in our body, like the Epstein-Barr virus, cytomegalovirus, Lyme, that you might previously have had and that have been lying dormant. And then as a result of that reactivation, you also have other cascades in the body that make you feel like crap. And I'll link some of these studies below if you want to read the science more and get more understanding yourself so that you can take a look at them. I'm also going to link for you here another video that I highly recommend that you watch. First and foremost, I would say pause now and come back to it after you've had a rest, but definitely do check out this other video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a tolerable week.